we've heard talk about raising money for VR projects. We've heard about getting licensing revenue to drive revenue after the projects have been launched. And what I'm here to talk about for the next 15 minutes is virtual reality advertising. Is this a viable model for monetizing VR experiences? I'm here to tell you that it is. So I'm with a company also based in California called VirtualSKY. And we're one of the first in the industry to be offering, basically it's a platform for VR advertising. You can think of it as a virtual reality advertising network. So we sit between content creators, those of you who may be developing virtual reality experiences, and advertisers. And we have over 300 virtual reality experiences that are part of our network today. Now, VirtualSKY is a division of a larger company called AirPush, where we have our roots in the mobile advertising business. We've done this previously primarily on the Android platform, where we've been innovating around mobile ad formats, and again, kind of having this two-way relationship with publishers, app developers on one side, and advertisers on the other. So really looking to replicate that model now in the virtual reality space. Now, one thing I want to address right up front, because when we talk about virtual reality advertising, it always comes up. You know, what's the difference between product placement and advertising? And you know, a lot of people see a huge amount of opportunity in product placement. I agree. It's an absolutely amazing opportunity for brands to have consumers interact with their products in virtual worlds and to build brand loyalty. But it has some serious scalability issues, which I'm going to talk about here for the next couple minutes. Just to give you an example, I mean, this is what an example of product placement that Kellogg's did in an app called Captain America Civil War. It was a great implementation of product placement. Always a little strange to try to show a virtual reality experience on a flat screen, but you get the idea. That's the left and the right eyes that would merge. But you know, again, there's challenges to making this scale. Now, this next slide, I must give credit where credit is due. I was at the Unity Summit in Hollywood just a couple of weeks ago. Was anyone else there? Anyone in this room there? Okay, well, there are people who say that you know, there'd be no reason for traveling to virtual reality events here in the next couple of years. And as having flown 18 hours to be here, I hope that isn't the case, actually. I hope we still get together and it's not all in virtual reality. Anyway, this was from that event a couple weeks ago. And you can track the money here. So this is film, television, and games. And product placement of the entire ad budget in the US that was spent, product placement represented only 6% across those three platforms. Now, television, of the 6%, got 11% of the total product placement budget, mostly going to the top 10 shows. But that budget went to promote 30,000 products. So if you think about trying to get 30,000 products into disparate virtual reality experiences, I think you can see it would be, you know, quite a challenge. We think advertising, true advertising, is much more scalable, certainly today. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to present a study here, which Nielsen conducted at their media lab in Las Vegas, where they exposed a total of 160 people to 360 video advertising in Gear VR versus the similar advertising on 2D tablets. And it was a scientifically conducted study. They had two groups. The first group saw the tablet advertising first, and the second group saw the virtual reality advertising, or the 360 video ads in Gear VR first. And what you're going to see is that across almost every metric, the 360 video in Gear VR far outperformed 2D video advertising. What I'm going to do here next for the next couple minutes is, before I get more into depth on the results of that study, I'm going to actually give you a sense of the three spots that were tested as part of this study. Again, I'm a little bit challenged here to show you 360 video ads on a flat screen. I hope that in the future we'll all be together in a dome like that one. It'd be a lot better for us being able to experience a 360 video ad communally. But I'll air them here, and also, I mean, to really get an appreciation of what these look like in context and with a headset on, I invite you all to come to a workshop that I'm giving tomorrow at 3 when we'll have Gear VRs that you can see these ads in.
We get our water from a small pond. We share with the animals. It smells disgusting and is full of leeches. They stay in our bodies and make us sick. My father says he heard that men are coming to drink for water. They drove all through the night to get here. Then they put these huge heavy pipes into the ground. When I woke up this morning, I was so happy because I remember the new well.
Nets. We were terrified. One minute my little boy was with me, the next he was pulled up out of the water. There was nothing I could do to save him. He was taken away from me. I heard his cries then. I can still hear his cries now. Can you?
So two very different categories of ads. The first two you saw, one was for charity water, the next was for PETA. And this was intentional on our behalf as we launched the platform late last year to launch with charities, because we felt introducing advertising into this pristine environment of virtual reality for the first time, there might have been some consumer backlash, but I think you can all agree it's pretty hard to get upset at companies that are trying to bring clean well water to Africa and help save animals around the planet. And then the last one that you saw, do you guys even have Fruity Pebbles in Europe? Does that exist? It's an American breakfast cereal. And that was a big campaign that ran with us towards the end of last year. And so next I'm going to show you, those were the same 3 ads that the group in Las Vegas was exposed to in the Nielsen Media Lab. And here are the results of that study that I was mentioning. So you see the charity water example, the group that was exposed to that, and the Gear VR. So we're talking about an 8, almost 9x improvement in their overall reaction to the ad. Similarly, PETA had about an 8x improvement, and Fruity Pebbles 9x as well. That's in brand-aided recall. In terms of their wanting to engage with the brand further, you see that it's double for the VR experiences over online video ads in general, and their intent to share is also about double. And certainly, this is a new medium, so I think there's just a great opportunity right now to capture consumers' attention with VR ads. They're not as burnt out on seeing VR ads as they are in seeing many other forms of advertising. And then here specifically, now we're looking at the results on a ad by ad level. The first one is for charity water. And you see at the bottom there actually some of the questions that they were asked. There was both a survey given to the participants before they saw the ads as well as after. And these are some of the questions that they were asked. How likely are you to donate to this organization after seeing their ad? How likely are you to want to look up more information about them? Similarly, here are the specific results for the PETA ad that you saw. And this was very interesting. There's been something of a scandal with SeaWorld in the US and their treatment of animals. And here they were asking the people who saw the ad how likely they were to want to visit SeaWorld versus some of the other attraction parks in the US. And you can see that SeaWorld is way below the other two. And finally, the results of that Fruity Pebbles ad that you saw. Similarly, you see that the 360 video ad outperformed the online video ad as well. So overall, people were very favorable towards these 360 video ads that they saw, and that's certainly great results for any kind of advertising to see those types of levels. And there's something of a bias in the study, obviously, that it's early, and many people may not have experience with virtual reality in general, let alone advertising. But I think that also represents a huge opportunity right now for the early advertisers, because we are all, I think probably many of us in this room are steeped in virtual reality. We're using it on a regular basis, and we forget that a lot of the people on the planet have not experienced virtual reality at all. And if their first experience happens to be with a brand, that's probably an experience that they will remember for the rest of their lives. And that's a huge opportunity for advertisers today. If anyone wants a copy of this presentation, you can email that address, wvrf17@virtualsky.com. I also want to say that, again, we're doing a workshop tomorrow at 3 p.m. where you can, again, see these in context. These ads, I think I may have glossed over where they actually appear. As I said earlier, there are over 300 experiences that are working with us to open up inventory for these 360 video ads. Primarily, these are games running on the Google Cardboard platform, and these ads either run before a game starts, or a lot of the developers are using them between levels of games. So you can see, if you come to the workshop tomorrow, you can see some of the games that are working with us and actually see how the advertising appears within the games. Finally, we've been having a little fun talking about who are the early advertisers in this platform, and came up with this. Our marketing team came up with this concept of today it's really 6 Fs. And again, if you come to the workshop, we'll show you some examples from each of these. But they're film, food, fashion, foreign travel. The last one there is automotive, but we're calling it Fahrvergnügen to borrow on the old Volkswagen campaign and stay with the F theme. And then finally, a lot of first-person shooter games are advertising their games within other games. That's it for me. Thank you very much for your attention and staying late to hear this. And again, I want to invite you to come to the workshop tomorrow at 3 o'clock and hear more. Thanks again.